And now we actually get into the real deal, archives. So now, alrighty, what's up first? 2015 archives. This one always takes for. This one I have written, and this is the test archive I used, and this thing has been written to and read back from tape so many times it's not even funny anymore for any reason. So let's see what our status is right now. Yep, EOF online, into file online. (2015) archives. And now we are going to begin writing this file to tape. Well, we can actually, we're actually going to see the size of this real quick. So let me see, 2015 archives. Now things like Bash and whatnot. These use a form of data, not form of data. These represent the size of files in what's called like say 26G. That's 26 gigabits or gigabytes. Yeah, that's actually a thing. Not gigabytes, but gigabytes. And I believe one gigabyte is 1024 megabytes, or however the heck you pronounce it. And something like Nautilus or whatnot uses actual gigabytes, which is 1 equals 1,000. Yep. Yes. It uses 1 equals 1,000, the same the hard drive manufacturers use. I mean, can't we all just standardize on giga or gibba or gibby or whatever the heck it is? You can look it up for yourself. Yeah, where was I? 2 terabyte. I was in the archives folder. No, I wasn't either. I was in my tape stuff folder. But anyways, 26 gigabytes, or that sounds stupid. Anyways, yeah. So we are going to write this to tape. And the tape drive is now writing to tape. So let me explain the commands I'm using. MT, that's a program. Tar, that's a program. MT-F, this specifies the device. And then I'm using /dev/NST0. Now, there's also another one. There's also another tape device which corresponds to the same drive, /dev/ST0. However, the N in NST0 is for no rewind. If you just use ST0, the tape drive will automatically rewind after the completion of each command. I don't recommend using that. Use dev NST0. And then status here. And then status here tells MT to get the status of the tape drive, which is how we're getting all these status bits. Now ls here, this is list, like list of files and list everything in a directory. L is long form, like this long column for. Capital A is almost everything. We're omitting the implied single dot and double dot folders, which the single dot is the same folder, and double dot is a single dot is a recursive link to the same folder, and a double dot is a recursive link to the previous folder up in the directory tree. H means represent sizes in a human readable format instead of blocks, and then the S here tells us how much it's actually using on the drive. Like say we're 176 gigs of raw data, and but block-wise it's occupying 177 gigabytes on the drive. And now for this tar command, tar CVF, there's 3 arguments specified right there. C means we're actually compressing or creating an archive. V means verbose, which like, hey, tell me the files you're putting in this archive or whatnot. And then F, I believe, tells us where we want to put it. In which case, we're putting it on a tape device. We're putting it on the first tape device. And then at the end here, we're specifying what we're putting onto the tape device, which is my 2015 archives. And this takes about 20 or so. I found that this takes about 20 to 25. Now it takes about 20 minutes to write to tape. So I'll be back whenever this finishes writing to tape. Alrighty, we're back, and this just finished writing to tape. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at our tape index, and it looks like we're going to be writing our 2016 archives to tape. That's going to be 160 gigabytes, and that's going to take considerably longer. Additionally, this is going to be the last record, the last file placed onto this tape. And that means that once that finishes writing, we're ejecting it, write protecting it, and moving on. So, and it's basically the exact same procedure, except I specify 2016 archives.tbz instead of 2015 archives.tbz. And just in case you're curious what htop looks like whenever I start one of these, here you go, buddy. So S is for state. D means waiting on uninterruptible I/O in it. And this tar command pretty much stays hung up in D state 100% of the time because it's waiting on the tape drive to write to tape. So anyways, yep. And another thing about Debian 10 is the RAM usage is phenomenally lower than what I've seen with any canonical product. I mean, I have Firefox open with like 7 tabs, and I'm watching a Shango 066 video on one of them. And of course we got OBS here, and let me see, that's eating up 5% of 16 gig. But anyways, yep. So if we cut back over to here, yeah, we're writing our 2016 archives out to tape, and hi. I literally have the webcam sitting on top of a thing of water. I mean, see, it's water. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna pause recording, and we'll be back whenever this finishes writing the tape, which could be a couple of hours or 45 minutes, or definitely going to be quite a while. Testing. Okay, good. Now it's actually recording. Okay, I don't know how long it's been since I got my prompt back, but that archive has successfully been written to tape, and according to our tape index, that's the end of our first tape. Now if we look at our calculator and run the numbers, 27 plus 160, that's 187 gigabytes, and that'll fall nicely within our 190 gigabyte safety barrier limit. So now what we'll do is we'll eject the tape by commanding the tape drive to eject it. Oops, was on the wrong thing. Yeah, going by our tape index, that's the end of the tape. And if we look at our calculator, 27 plus 190, 27 plus 160, 27 plus 160, 187 gigabytes, and that falls nicely within our 190 gigabyte safety barrier. So, anyways, that's the end of the tape. So what we're going to do is we're going to command the tape drive to eject. And then in another terminal, we'll get a status on the tape drive. We'll get a status on the tape drive as I eject it, which is going to be right there. In fact, you know what I can do? I can just do that. Device or resource busy. Okay, yeah, it's gonna eject. It sounds like we are rewinding right now. I'm going to try and put the mic up to it and see if y'all can hear it. Yeah, that's it, rewinding. And that thing has a pretty loud fan in it. So we're going to go ahead and cut back to our webcam and wait on the drive to kick the tape out. In 3, 2, 1, maybe. Alrighty. And there it goes. So, this is our tape. Okay, yeah, so this is our tape. Here's the barcode. And here we see the center spindle. And then right here is that write protect tab I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trip that write protect tab. And then I'm going to go load it back into the tape drive. And load it back into the tape drive, and we'll actually this time we'll actually get a status on that. Alrighty, loaded. Okay, beginning a tape, write protected, and online. So, test. Alrighty. Now we're gonna have it tell us what's in record 1. Alrighty, that's our tape index. Yeah, there's a tape index. Next one should be recovery and reassembly instructions. And next should be our md5 sums.txt. And you can see our status is changing as I hit the end of a record. So write protect online. Now we've hit the end of the file, and now we're busy because we're seeking. So I'm going to cancel out of that. Alright, position to record 4. And that's going to send it to record 4 on the tape. And then we can do we can use our tar tvf command to see what's there. Yeah, and if anybody's curious as to why I have this thing on my right ear, well, it's because I have a tape. Well, it's because I have that tape drive way over there, and well, having that in your right ear all the time just really gets old. So yeah. Anyways, now we are positioned to record 4. And it says we are at end of file. So let's go ahead and have it tell us what's there. And immediately it turns up our 2016 archives. So now what we're going to do is we are going to, let me see, EOD, end of data. This goes busy. So now we should see probably EOF or EOD in our status flags, because we are at end of file and end of data. And it's going to be just a little bit before that happens. Okay, yep, EOD, end of data, write protected online. So now, if we run a tar tvf, that should immediately kick out, because, well, and if we get rid of our standard error pipe, it says we're at the beginning of the tape, which doesn't make any sense. Cannot read IO error. Well, that's because there's nothing there. So now if we try to write anything to this tape, yeah, it immediately kicks out with cannot open. This is a read-only file system. Exiting now. What am I doing? I'm getting windows and terminals and stuff. All kinds of confused. You know what I'm going to do? What I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to take this terminal, move it off to my second monitor, and then in this particular scene I'm going to add a window capture. Window capture terminal sudo watch Just hit OK, and then I can just drag this over here. And this isn't actually over here. I'm actually layering that using OBS. So now, see, it's bailed out because it's a read-only file system. So now we're going to go to the beginning of the tape, device or resource busy. This is equivalent to a rewind. This is equivalent to a rewind, but I'm using beginning of tape to make sure we're at the beginning of the logical data section on the tape. So I can hear it starting to get close to the beginning of the tape, because one of the reel motors, one of the reel or spool motors in this thing starts making this whining noise that increases in pitch as it gets closer to the beginning of the tape. I'm not sure if you were able to hear it right there, but okay, yeah, we are at the beginning of tape. So let's try to recover something off of there. Get into our test folder. Device or resource busy. And we just got our tape index. This doesn't look like a tar archive. Yeah, well, it's the end of a file. Well, particularly the end of a record. There's our recovery and reassembly instructions. Let's go ahead and move on to record 2. And then let's get that and md5 sum.txt. Now, if we why do I have 2 tape stuff directories open? Now, if I go into test, we can see that we have our files. And we'll just cd out of that. rmr the test directory. And then we will... and then I'm actually going to go over and manually command and eject. Okay. So we are now offline. So the drive is not ready for a command. And it's rewinding to the beginning of the tape. Alrighty, it's unloaded it and ejected. So there we go. Tape 1. There we go. Tape 1 done. Finally. Barcoded, write protected. So, okay, I didn't think of a place to put these whenever I was done with them. Oops. Where am I going to put these? You know what, I'll just stick them behind me on my bed. Anyways, so now we have tape number 2. Also barcoded. It is not write protected, however, because it's blank. There's our leader pin. This camera is in a horrible position. You know what? This camera is in a horrible position. Okay, you really can't see anything because these lights. Okay, that's better. So yeah, not write protected. It is barcoded, and it's like, and the leader pin is there and verified to be there and in place and whatnot. So let's go ahead and cut back. Actually, you know what? We're going to copy that, and we're actually just going to paste as a reference. And then you can actually see status live as I load this tape. OBS is pretty neat. So yeah, that write protect status should clear as soon as it loads. I don't know why it doesn't automatically clear the write protect status whenever it finishes. And let me see. Look at our tape index, and looks like this is going to be pretty boring because this is the first part of our 2017 archives. So what I'm going to do. Oops. I'm at LS. Okay, 2017 archive split 1. As we can see by our status, we are at the beginning of tape. We're online. We are not write protected. So here we go. tar CVF. Give it the tape device. Split1.tbz. This is going to go to device or resource busy, and I'll come back to y'all as soon as this finishes, which could be a while. Okay, we're back. This thing just finally finished. And you see, whenever I kick this off, 8:20 p.m., well, it is now 10:35:44, and it's just finished. So, just a hair over 2 hours to write this. Just a hair over 2 hours to write the tape. Now, if I pop open my webcam, set it up, and let's go ahead and kick a watch off on our tape drive status. Alrighty, into file, online. Let's check scene 4. Okay, good. It's grabbed the right window. Do anything? Not really. Put the webcam right there and hope it doesn't fall off into my water glass. Yeah, the camera is literally sitting on top of my water glass, by the way. Anyways, so I am going to so let's go ahead and rewind this tape. Or either that or we can do an ASFBOT. They're functionally equivalent, I believe. And as we can see, device or resource is busy. So, yeah. As I said, it would probably be a fairly significant amount of time later. Well, it most certainly is a fairly significant amount of time later. So that is 189 gigabytes written to tape. So, well, let's see. Waiting on this thing to rewind is like waiting on paint to dry. Well, not really. It's like waiting on a tape drive to rewind. But copying that 190 gigs to tape is like watching paint dry, except you have a tape drive going in your right ear for over 2 hours. Fortunately, I didn't have to be in here that full 2 hours plus. Anyways, oh, by the way, LGR and Shango066 and other YouTubers definitely provide some much needed entertainment while I was waiting on that particular operation to complete. Anyways, it sounds like we're starting to get near the beginning of the tape. So, yep, if we look at our tape index, next part, That's the only thing on this tape, and tape 3 is going to be the second half of that, which is going to be 107.6 gigabytes, and then immediately following that is going to be 82. The first part of our 2018 archives, which is 82.7 gigabytes. And we've just hit the beginning of the tape. Yep, BOT. So yes, a rewind is functionally equivalent to an ASF BOT. So now let's do a tar TVF. Okay, let's cancel out of that. Let's go ahead, rewind, and then now I'm going to eject the tape manually. Reaching over, eject. Okay. Let's see. And yes, the lights did just dim. I don't know if that's from a well pump. Okay, the lights just dimmed again. That's not a well pump. That's likely a recloser somewhere on Cherokee County's network tripping out. Okay, tape has been extracted. So here we can see the little write protect notch is not out. Let's go ahead and set write protect. There it is. Just go ahead and reinsert. Alright, it's threaded in. And let's see. Alright, beginning of tape, write protected and online. Let's try doing this operation again. Oops. Okay, there we go. Kill that. Rewind. Okay, there we go. Yeah, really helps if you put the mic down. Okay, anyways, if you couldn't hear me, I'm not going to let it try to find the end of data because it's probably going to be there another 2.5 hours. Okay, just ejected the tape. As you can see, door open. I don't know why write protect is there. Probably a peculiarity of this particular drive. I'm going to switch to camera. So, yeah, we are write protected if you can't tell. I'll block out some of these lights. Okay, that's better. Yeah, we're write protected. So let's go ahead and stick that off over there and stack them. And let's go ahead and take our third tape, a barcoded, not write protected. And the lights dimmed again. And shove that in there. Okay, what is our radar looking like today? Okay, looks like our tape is loaded. Oh yeah, okay, yep. There's definitely some nasty stuff in the area. Certainly stuff that would affect the Cherokee County Electric Cooperative Association power distribution network. So, anyways, now if we look at our tape index, tape 3 is going to consist of the second half of our 2017 archives and the first half of our 2018 archives. And I'm actually going to queue those up as one command. So, let me see. And another recloser goes tripping out. That was a line fuse blowing. And recloser. Oh, wait, hold on. Tape stuff 2018 split 1.tbz. Yep, and I'm actually going to wrap this whole thing in a subshell with time executed against it. And we're going to do a date and hit that, and yep, we're writing the tape. It's thundering outside. I'm actually going to turn off that window. But yeah, if you notice the lights up there behind, if you'll notice the lights up there behind me, those are rather sensitive to line voltage fluctuations, and depending on what the line voltage does, I can determine what happened and if it was upstream or downstream of us. Upstream faults will generally knock out our power for a brief moment. Like, say, an upstream recloser trips out, our power will blink off for a second. Or a line fuse upstream blows, generally it's going to make the power blip for a fraction of a second. However, if it's downstream, the lights will just simply dim like they have. And also, if it's a line fuse blowing, there's still a substantial amount of fault current being sunk into. There's still a substantial amount of current being sunk into the fault, which is going to make the line voltage drop considerably for that brief moment until the line fuse literally explodes and cuts the power to the faulted stretch of line. How do I know how loud one of those are? Well, I've heard those go boom before here at our house. And there's a line fuse probably a quarter to a half mile away. It sounds like a shotgun. It sounded like someone fired a shotgun from our house. From our house, it sounded like someone fired a shotgun whenever that line fuse went boom. And someone said that they heard one go off up close, and it sounded like a cannon going off, and I would not doubt them. Oh, by the way, if I come back and things look a bit different, chances are the power dropped in the middle of the. Chances are the power dropped for some reason, and well, either, and I had to set things back up again. Also, if you do restart or power cycle a tape drive with a tape loaded into it, be prepared to wait a while before that drive is usable again, because what it's going to do is it's going to rewind the tape at its slowest speed to avoid damaging the tape and or the drive whenever it does eventually reach the end. So, and then it'll eject the tape, and then the drive will finish initializing and become ready. So, anyways, that is quite enough rambling for now, and we'll be back whenever this finishes, tomorrow morning, or sometime after the ending of this clip. Okay, are we recording? Yep, okay, good. We're back. It's Monday, August 17th, 2020. No power drop, thankfully. Okay, so it looks like that took 136 minutes and 57 seconds. So, 136. Going to be about 2.2 hours, so Yep, that finished up probably about 1 a.m. this morning. And if you look at our status here, this got kicked off on the 16th at 10:22 p.m. So, what am I doing? Okay, let's just move that over. Okay, so let's go ahead and get us a status on here. Alrighty, into file online, and we're pretty dang near close to the end of the tape. In fact, if we look at our tape index, see tape 3 107.6 plus 82.7, that's 190.3 gigabytes. So, yep, we are within that 10 gig safety barrier, so I am going to manually command a rewind. And this is going to put us back at the beginning of the tape, and then we will eject the tape and write protect. And then we can move on to the next tape, which is going to be tape 4. And that's probably going to be about 60 to 70 gigabytes. In fact, while that's rewinding, let's run the numbers. 4.9, 3.6, 8.8, 1.1, 9.7. That was a little bit low. It's 77 gigabytes. Should probably be careful I put that calculator so it doesn't get totally obscured behind this window right here. So, yep. Alrighty, let's see. Still rewinding. Going by the sounds, we're nearing the beginning of the tape. Very close to the beginning of the tape. And yep, we've hit the beginning of the tape, as we can see by our status flags. And then I'm going to go over and manually command an ejection of the drive. Alright. Okay, online went and disappeared. Let's go and change over to scene 4. Unloaded. And here we go. Okay. Let's see. Tape stuff, other locations, 2 terabyte. Okay, good. We're recording. Okay. So, now that we have the tape ejected, we need to write protect like that. And then we'll go ahead and load. And while that's loading, we'll go ahead and look at our tape index. Okay, so we have just loaded write protected tape 3, beginning of tape, write protected and online. Okay, so now let's try writing to this tape. And that's read only. Good. Okay. Manually commanding and eject. And this tape is done. Okay. So now so this is tape 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now we have what is probably the fourth and final tape in this set. Barcoded 00009 LTO2. Not write protected, as you can see. And yes, we have a later pin in place. Might not have been able to see that real well, you know, with these cheap cameras. Okay, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and load it up. So, yep. And looks like we're loading. Okay, we're ready. Beginning a tape online. Alrighty, so if we go ahead and look at our tape index, start of tape 4. So the first thing we'll be doing is we'll be writing the second half of our 2018 archives, and then we'll get on to writing our old disk images. So we're actually going to go ahead into my home directory. Alrighty. (2018). Okay, that's just a bunch of applicable options. Oh, it's going to be in tape stuff. Alrighty. And as we can see, device or resource busy. So we'll get a date, and we'll be back whenever this finishes. Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. We're back. And this literally just finished, 10:50, 11:26. So that took probably about 40 minutes. I went ahead and ran the numbers, and I'm getting about 230 megabytes a second over the megabytes. I'm getting about 230 megabits a second through the chain, which translates to a little bit under 30 megabytes a second, 27 or 28.4 megabytes a second to be exact. So, and this is an Ultra 320 SCSI controller and SCSI tape drive. So, if you count in that 320 megabits per second is probably just the absolute theoretical maximum speed. Anyways, end of file online. So now, if we look at our tape index, looks like the next one is going to be our disk image for the old 2004 gaming rig. So we'll go ahead and write that. 2004 gaming rig. And this goes busy. So, yeah, we're averaging a gigabyte every 33 or so seconds. and we're getting probably 1.66 gigabytes a minute or something like that. And if we go ahead and look at our tape index, 4.9 gigs, so we'll be back very shortly. Okay, and this one just finished, and as we can see, we're at the end of a file. So now if we look at our record, our tape index, we see that record 2 is going to be the Dell Dimension E310 disk image. That's 3.6 gigabytes, so I might just do some rambling while waiting on that. Okay, yep, device or resource is now busy. So, yeah. You know what? I really don't have much to ramble about. We'll be right back. Okay, this one just finished. As we can see, we're at the end of the file, and and let's see, record 3 is going to be the Dell Inspiron B130's disk image. That's 8.8 gigabytes, so we're going to be a few minutes on that one. Okay, we're back. This one just finished. So let's look at our tape index now. Okay. Tech Room Network Bridge 5.2.2020. This is going to be very quick. I can ramble. I can ramble a little bit while this finishes. This will probably be over in about 45 seconds or so. Anyways, well, I got to ramble, and I don't know what I want to ramble on about. Oh, yeah, YouTube has decided that they're not going to email notifications out anymore. That's great. Figured I'd put that out there. But, yep. I know that next year when I archive all of my 2019 stuff, that in and of itself is probably going to span 4 or so tapes. 3 or 4 tapes all on its own. I'm not kidding. And just like that, it's done. Alrighty. So now if we look at our tape index, the last one, 9.7 gigabytes, and that is the end of this set of tapes. So that would be the Toshiba Tecra A2. And it looks like we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, we're back, and that just finished up. So, let's see, file number 6, and yeah, there's only 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 records, and that was the last record on this tape. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and manually command the drive to eject the tape. So now the drive is rewinding the tape in preparation for ejection. And then we will soon be ejecting the tape, write protecting it, verifying that it's write protected, and then I will have to do this entire process again for the second set of tapes, which, where's my mouse? Which I have right there. Which I have right there. Oh, and there's my monitor. This webcam absolutely hates low light situations. And with these really bright LED lights in my room, it does pretty dang well in here. Okay, is that better? Yep, that is much better. Okay, turn that back on. Okay, there's H-top. And yeah, we're only using 6.02 gig. Let's see. Okay. Looking at our tape drive. Alright, unloading. And it's unloaded. Okay. Alrighty, it's not write protected yet. And it's write protected, as you can see by the red thing. So we'll go ahead and immediately reload it. And we'll go ahead and wait on that to load up and thread up. So, I still have one more tape over here in this first thing of 5. We're not going to be using that. I'll be drawing off of this stack over here for our second set of tapes. Alright, it looks like it's ready. Well, I mean, I could just look at the display. Okay. Let's try writing something to tape. Yep, read-only file system error is unrecoverable, exiting now. So, go ahead and command it to eject. And there it goes. So now, here's our tape, write protected and everything. And get the other stack of tapes, join it in, and that's the first set of tapes done with. This is tape 1, tape 2, 3, and 4. So this tape right here has the tape index, it has a recovery and reassembly instructions, it has an MD5 sums.txt file. I should probably adjust my microphone. Then it has my 2015 archives, and then it has my 2016 archives. So that's this tape. Our second tape right here has the first part of our 2017 archives, 189 gigabytes. Then the third tape right here has, I should probably be cutting over to here. The first tape has all this. Second tape has our 2017 archives, part 1. The third tape, right, you know what, I'm actually going to pop the webcam. In. Okay, I just popped the webcam in right about here. So, what was I doing? Okay, I was explaining tape 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this tape has the second half of my 2017 archives, which is 107.6 gigabytes, and then it has the first part of my 2018 archives, which is 82.7 gigabytes. Total size is 190.3 gigabytes. And then now, this last tape right here has the second half of my 2018 archives, 48.9 gigabytes. It has a disk image of the 2004 gaming rig before it became the Network Bridge machine, 4.9 gigabytes. Then it has an disk image of the Dell Dimension E310 before it got turned into the Legacy Things computer, 3.6 gigabytes. Then it has a disk image of the Dell Inspiron B130, not maintained, 8.8 gigabytes. Then it has a disk image of the Tech Room Network Bridge machine right as it got decommissioned, 1.1 gigabytes. And then the Toshiba Tecra A2 laptop, no longer maintained, 9.7 gigabytes. So, that's the first set of tapes. All of them have been written and write protected. So now we get to do the exact same thing with a second set of tapes. Yay! So, here's this tape, and I'm not going to make a little video. I'm not going to make a little intro. I'm not going to make a little video clip for every file and whatnot. This is basically the same thing. Basically the same thing I was doing with the first set of tapes, except it's just another set of tapes. So yeah. I'll get back to y'all whenever I have fully written this second set of tapes, which will probably be a number of hours. Alrighty, everybody, we're back. Today is Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. I believe the last time we took footage of this tape stuff was on the 17th. Yep, 8/17/2020. So, I am glad to say that both sets of tapes have been successfully made, and that both sets of tapes have been successfully packed. One set of tapes is in storage, the other set of tapes is soon to be put in storage. But pretty much once that last set of tapes gets put into storage, that should be it for this rather long and complex series, which really should have been finished up like forever ago, but well, you know. Anyways, I'm gonna back out of this folder so we don't all have to see that video re-thumbnailing itself like every 10 seconds or something along the lines of that. Anyways, but with both sets of tapes being made, sealed, write protected, ready to go out the door. That's not the folder I wanted. We can finally delete the terabyte plus of archives and archive pieces and whatnot that I have not only prepared over the years as videos age, but the pieces that have also been generated in preparation for them to be moved to tape, such as the 2017 archives getting split so that way it can fit onto a single tape. And then I have even more stuff in my home folder because I couldn't cram it all onto my video editing drive, which, if we look at it, we have 45.5 gigabytes free, and that's shrinking by the second. Let's refresh this. Because I'm recording onto my video editing drive. In fact, if we go into videos awaiting processing, we can see that this is only 25 megabytes. However, we have all of the previous clips, and there is a ton of them. 14.4 gigs and counting. But yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff. But anyways, we have 45.5 gigabytes free on the video editing drive, with everything here eating up 912.1 gigabytes. And then whenever I split the 2018 archives, I had to copy that archive, copy or move it onto my home drive so that way I could split it and then move it back. And that turned out to be 131.6 gigabytes for the split. And then I have all the file server disk images, which allotted to about another 28 gigabytes. So if we pull up a calculator, which is on my other monitor. So if we pull up a calculator here, 28.1 gigabytes of disk images plus 131.6 gigabytes from the 2018 split, plus the 912.1 gigabytes from The stuff on my video editing drive, that's 1071.8 gigabytes of stuff. Not all 1071.8 gigabytes of stuff made it to tape. However, there's a grand total of 1071.8 gigabytes of stuff sitting here on my computer that's about to be deleted. Yep. So I have this terminal that just happens to be right conveniently here. That is, if I switch to the proper monitor on OBS. So I'm sitting in my home directory right now. If we go into the folder with my video editing drive mounted to it, we see that we have an archives folder. Let's go in there. Now we have a directory listing of everything in the archives folder. And if we SSH into the file server, I should probably be on the proper network for this. We're not going to worry about that right now. Yeah, no route to host. Yeah, we're not on the correct network for that. Anyways, so if we look at our archives, we see 2015 archives through the 2018 archives, and then the 2017 archive split pieces. So let's go ahead and remove everything from this directory. We're not going to do this in one giant whole fell swoop. We're going to do this in chunks, starting with the 2015 archives. Gone. And this 850G up here, that's 850 gigabytes. If you're not sure what a gigabyte is, then you have skipped around in the video, and I highly advise you go back and watch this video in its entirety. So now if we do an ls, now we've dropped to 825 gigabytes. So now let's get rid of our 2016 archives. And suddenly, it's gone. It's gone. And we dropped from 825 to 675 gigabytes. Now, if we get rid of our 2017 archives, I need to escape the space. This might take, or not. I was going to say this might take a little bit, or not. So now if we do an ls, we've dropped to 399 gigabytes. And now if we get rid of our 2018 archives, which takes no time flat, we've dropped to 277 gigabytes. And now if we get rid of our 2017 archive split 1, we now have 101 gigabytes. And if we get rid of the split 2, that suddenly drops to absolutely nothing. Zero, none, zero, zilch, gone. Now if we look at our archives folder, it's totally empty. And if we look at our properties, we have a marvelous 957.5 gigabytes free. Isn't that lovely? Woohoo! And now all of a sudden we have space on this drive again. Yay! Now if we back out to our home folder and go into our tape stuff folder, we have 123 gigabytes in raw files here. However, there's more contained in the file server disk images folder. So what we're going to do now is we're going to let me see. Let's do an ls on that. And now we have a whopping 27 gigabytes for the file server disk images folder. So now we're going to do an rm-r and get rid of the file server disk images folder. Now the 123 gigabytes should not have changed, which it didn't. So now let's get rid of our 2018 split 1. 46 gigabytes. Then 2018 split 2, 12 kilobytes, which is like kilobytes, but kilobytes. The only difference is power of 1,000 and the power of 1,024 gigabytes. Kilo giga tera, what have you, that uses power of 1,000. Kiba Tiba, that uses a power of 1,024. Anyways, that's a bit of a diversion. Now we just have our tape index, or MD5 sum, .text, and our recovery and reassembly instructions.text, which I'm actually going, I'm not actually sure if I want to archive this. It wouldn't eat up much room, or if I just want to completely delete it. You know what, I'm going to archive that, so let's back out of that, do an ls. Let me see. Yeah, okay, 12 kilobytes. Yeah, not much. And then we'll RMR the tape stuff folder. And then we'll move the tape stuff archive into the documents folder, and we will never see it again in the home folder, which is good. So now I'm going to change. Now we're going to be right back as I change networks, and we'll SSH into the file server and permanently eradicate the files from there. And we're back. So reverse I search, enter. So now let's get into the file server. 0 packages can be updated, and then we're going to have to go to a root prompt. Due to the way I have this set up, and yep, now we can delete everything in here. Gone, 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 disappeared, and that basically evaporated. Now, nothing. So now if we look at our video editing drive again, 957.4 gigabytes free. If we look at our home directory, we have 736.8 gigabytes free. And our file server should have about I'd give it 40 gigabytes, however large that directory was. 27 gigabytes, you do the conversion yourself. That's how much more free space there is on the file server. So, anyways, glad to have finally finished this up. Now I can actually get on to processing this video and getting it uploaded to YouTube. So, yep. Anyways, if we change back to our webcam. Oh, look, I have this giant window in the way. Window capture. Yes, go away. This is the Computer Geek 0101010001 here. This video has been going on entirely too long, probably in runtime as you're watching it. Most certainly in time it has taken me to completely and totally record this video. Anyways, peace out, guys. Peace out. Why am I doing this on camera when it's rolling? I don't know. I'm a professional lazy button. Refuse to turn off the camera.